Hey, good morning, everybody. I am Tommy, and you're on the Love Boat. What's happening? So, as requested yesterday, we're going to do a little morning deal so that we can give you an idea of some stuff that you're going to write about when we start this journaling journey, right? This is day one of your journaling, right? Starting your new life. This is the easiest journaling assignment you're ever going to have. Hey, Joey girl, good to see you. This literally is the easiest journaling assignment you're ever going to have because it's day one, right? Stop thinking about the journal as anything other than your friend, literally, right? So what you're going to do on this first day is you're going to tell, hey, Brock Bandy, good to see you. You're going to tell this journal what it is you want out of this. Everybody journals for different reasons. I mean, honestly, we're all journaling for the same reason. But in your head, as you start the journey, there are different reasons that you're going to be doing it. Always, always and forever. The morning journaling is a way to, number one, dump everything that was in your head when you first got up. Chances are, if you're listening to me, you've already gotten up. So the second thing that you're going to want to do in this, tell the journal what it is you want out of this. I'm starting this process because I would like to get more organized in life. I want to start getting to the point, whatever it is for you. I lay out every day when I journal what I'm doing that day. So today, for instance, is a yoga day. In the workout routines that we do, today is yoga. It's also a day that we're going to be swimming for distance, right? We're doing it not in the ocean, but in a pool, but we're going to be swimming for a length of time to get distance swimming in because it's an exercise starting to blow out the lungs. Good morning, Tommy Bird. Glad you're here. Hey, I hope that everything goes well at the doctor's. Always fun. And I hope that it's a smooth journey. I used to hate taking Spanx Calhoun to the doctor, but Spanky was a bit of a challenge. He didn't like doctors, so it was always a challenge trying to get him to the point where he was cool with the journey. This morning, write down what it is you want to get out of this, and then write down what you're going to be doing throughout the course of the day. A lot of people expect that the first time you put pen to paper, there's going to be these fireworks and all of these revelations are going to start tumbling out of you. Simply not the way it works. Normally, that's something that happens a lot later in the journaling process, right? Because you're going to start to unpeel the onion. And chances are that's not going to happen on day one. For me, it took a couple of years. But the first thing that we want to do is just talk to that journal. What is it you want out of this? You're not doing this to make Tommy happy, right? You're doing this because you're hoping to better yourself. For some people, that's going to mean that they want better organization in their life. That was huge for me. I was the most disorganized person on planet Earth, no joke. And as I've said many times in other shows, I overcompensated because of my inability to write and do things of that nature. I overcompensated with my ability to communicate in the spoken word. So I worked on a larger vocabulary. I worked on a lot of things, and in my communication skills, so that people wouldn't see the deficits in the other part of my life, which was great. Worked out for me. Doesn't work out when all of a sudden I have to put pen back to paper. Right now, I'm stepping into a zone that I'm so uncomfortable in. And I often wouldn't write words if I couldn't spell them. I wouldn't write things if I didn't know how to spell the word, I would just blow it off. And that's not how I talk. So as I'm journaling, it's not me. It's not authentic. I had to get to a point where I'm like, if I spell the word wrong, who gives a crap? I'm the only person that's going to be looking at this anyway. But these are things I had to overcome because for me, writing is such a stumbling block. Getting it from here to paper is really a problem. One of the other reasons that journaling is such an important thing is because it forces parts of your brain to get engaged that a lot of times we disengage intentionally, right? Or subconsciously, but we're doing it because it serves us. We talk about this all the time on the Lifeboat, but if you're new, hello, Lumen. If you're new, Tony Suter, good to see you. If you're new to this may be a little bit different as a concept, but when the emotional part of our brain is fully engaged, then the executive functions, the upper level thinking, the logic part of our brain jumps in the back seat. I'm in deep crap if I let the logical part of my brain start running the show. And if you've watched me for any length of time, last night people said, it just seemed like you weren't you for a while. It's because I let the emotional part of my brain take the steering wheel for about 4 or 5 months. One of the reasons that was easy was because I wasn't journaling the way that I used to. And sitting down, grabbing a pen and putting it to paper, right? This process now engages a whole part of my brain that I'm not normally using. And in the process of doing that, I turn off the emotional part of my brain. And it is a much, much better thing for me. Oh, don't freeze up on me, please, this morning. Sometimes I have to plan a structure for my journal entries because if not, it ends up far too negative and with me just bitching a fit about everything. You know something, Tommy Bird? It's a fact. It is. And I can do the same thing. That's how I was journaling. It isn't like I stopped. What I did was, instead of trying to become logical, instead of engaging the part of my brain, I was just doing that, literally cursing. And if I'm journaling with curses in it, me, not you, maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you're a person who's so reserved that you would never say any of these things and you don't let your emotions out. It's going to be a completely different reason that you're journaling, and what you're going to get out of it is completely different than mine. I am prone to allowing the emotional part of my brain to rule me. And the reason is, for me, it's pretty obvious, right? I have a deficit in the part of my brain that requires executive thought. So for me, journaling is about organization. For me, journaling is about really honestly trying to structure my life, because I can BS, right, my way through a lot. Thank you, Brock Bandy. I can BS my way through a lot of life. I really can. So I needed structure, and I needed the ability to force myself to use parts of my brain that I don't normally use. So today, just write down in that journal, put the pen to the paper and say, Tommy challenged all of us to do this for a month, right? What is it you want out of this? I assume you're doing this because you want to find out more about yourself. You want more structure. You want more organization. You don't want to waste time during the day. That's a huge thing for me. A huge thing for me. If I don't sit down and journal what I intend to do during the day, then I'm not going to get done the things that I need to get done. Now that I am not acting like a jackass, I have a lot more people that are reaching out to me again. And there are people who are asking for assistance, and there are people. So I need to structure my day, because honestly, I need to fit 29 hours into a 24-hour day. And I can do it. I can. I did it for a long time. I stopped doing it when I allowed the emotional part of my brain to take over. So for me, it's really cut and dry stuff. But what is it for you? Because you're not journaling for the same reason that I am. So today, you're just going to put pen to paper and you're going to say, what do I want out of this journey? The night one is going to be a lot easier. We'll talk about it again on the boat tonight. It's a whole lot easier. You're just going over your day, right? You're writing down what happened so that when the night shift takes over. And again, tomorrow morning, because this will be the second day of journaling, you're going to do an info dump. You're going to wake up in the morning and just bleh, right? Whatever's in the head that you didn't finish from the night before will come spilling out. Quick story before I wrap it up, because this is going to be a short one. I'm just telling you how to get this rolling. But last night, right before going to bed, garbage in, garbage out. We talk about this all the time. Last night before I went to bed, I was researching a couple of these alpha male guys because I'm doing a show about them. And the lies coming out of this one dude's mouth, because this is a guy that's claimed to have done a lot of prison time and have done a lot of level 3 and 4 yards, which is the lockdown units, things like that. And I was listening to this idiot lie, right? That's basically what I was listening to. And as I was sitting on the couch, it was closing in on midnight here in Salinas, and I was falling asleep. And I said to Johnny, I'm like, man, I got to go. He's like, yeah, I'm tired. So I went in and I journaled and I shut my eyes. And I'm talking about the second I shut my eyes, I began to dream and work through things that are happening in my life. But one of the main characters in my life that I've been working on turned into this idiot I was watching from the night before. Literally, this fake alpha male douche nozzle, there's no other way to say it, was in the forefront of my mind. And as I went to sleep, he assumed a character in my dreams. And it was actually, it was pretty funny as I was journaling about it this morning, because as much as I have to research this stuff, you got to be careful with how much garbage you let into your life, because allowing that garbage in obviously has affected me, or this idiot wouldn't have taken on a role in my dreams. It's kind of funny, but it's also a pretty good learning lesson about the things we watch, right? A lot of times, because I'm keeping up on certain things, I allow garbage in, and it does affect you. And this is why when I say to people, I don't, what people think about me or what people believe or write or talk about me is none of my business. It's a huge thing. Especially if you do what I do, right? If I sat and watched negative content about myself, you have any idea how much that starts to take root? It really does. It starts to take root, and it starts to affect you in your awake life, and it starts to affect you in your asleep life, and the life that you're living after you punch out of the day shift and after the dreaming starts to happen. If those dreams are pointing to things in my life that are negative as hell, I'm allowing them in. There's no way they're allowed to get in there of their own volition. If I'm bringing in garbage and letting it park in my brain, that's when I'm going to find out about it. I promise. It's going to be during the sleeping aspect of my life. Cheryl Niles says, I've missed these morning boat rides. Well, someone last night, I believe it was V-Bombs, asked me if I would come on and do some stuff just to get the ball rolling on the journaling, and I'm going to do it. It doesn't take much time. And you know what? I've been up for almost 3 hours. Johnny and I get up really, really early because we have set a routine that works for us. And this morning, when Johnny gets up, the two of us do a breakfast thing. It's yogurt, it's granola, right? It's coffee, it's blueberry juice. And we sit down with a journal and boom, we start journaling, sitting at a table saying nothing to each other. And we're just laying out exactly what we're going to do during the day. When the journal books close, we start to talk, we go through what's happening. But that journal, I write to it as if you were to ever read my journal entries, it sounds like I'm talking to somebody who's sitting in the room. Because for me, it doesn't have to be that way for you, but for me, that's the only way it ever worked. When I tried to be the journal dude, when I started to journal like I read books about it, it never worked at all. So to me, the journal had to be a person, and it was just me talking to that person. You would not believe the crap that happened to me during the day, right? Like that kind of thing. Because again, I overcompensated in my communication skills. So to now go back and become this organizational machine, right, that's just going to write stuff down, it still has to be communication. And it has to be me trying to get things out in a way that I would do if I were speaking. And fortunately, over a long period of time, I've gotten to the point where I do write exactly as I speak. Now, if you read it, you might not know. Honestly, you would go, is this shorthand? Right? You know, what are we doing here? There are words that, you know, don't make any sense. They make a hell of a lot of sense to me. You follow me? Roberta, good to see you. They make a lot of sense to me. Arabian Bard, how are you, Arwa? Welcome. So please, today, sit down with that journal. And if you don't have one, if you say, you know, I didn't have a journal, get a piece of paper. I don't care what you write on. For real, write on anything. But get pen to paper. And today, talk about this journey and what you want out of it. Right? We're going to be going over a lot of other things because this isn't what I challenged everyone to last night is not journaling. That was the first step. Right? There's a lot of things I want you all to do for 1 month. And I'm not doing it for any, look, we're not charging anyone for this, right? I'm not saying, hey, do me a favor and buy this kit. And we'll tell you, this took me from a 7 gram a day heroin criminal to someone who honestly spends a lot more time during the day trying to help other people and leave the earth a better place than I found it. Whether you want to believe that or not, that is how I'm living my life. And these are the things that I did. These were the steps that somebody laid out in front of me, and I walked that roadmap. And it turned me from a really phenomenally crappy human being to someone that I'm pretty damn proud to be these days. I guarantee you don't need a journey like that. I guarantee you don't. But if it can do that, then whatever small steps or whatever small tweaks that you need to make to become the best version of you, it's going to be a much easier ride, I promise you. But this is how it starts. So put pen to paper today and tell that journal, any way you speak to them. To me, I speak like I'm talking to somebody, right? Like this is a friend. But put down what you want to get out of this journey, because starting a journey with absolutely no goal, it's not going to do for you what you want it to do, I promise. There's something you want to get out of this. There's a reason you went, yeah, I'm going to do what Tommy said. All right, what was that reason? What is it you're hoping to get out of this? Write that down. It's a fairly simple assignment. Knock it out. By the way, people say, how long should I journal? If somebody answers that question for you, then they're an idiot. Because you might have to journal for 25 seconds, or you might have to journal for 2 hours. How long do I have to journal? Until, right, you get what's in your dome on paper. There are days that takes a very short amount of time. And there are days for me that takes an hour or an hour and a half. I write until what I need in here to get out gets out. If you leave it in here, it'll get stuffed in a closet. If you allow it to come out, you're going to live in the moment. You hear that term and you go, oh, live in the moment. The hell does that mean? It sounds great. It means that you're not letting your past or your preoccupation with the future, right? What happened yesterday is gone. Can't do a damn thing about it. And you're not going to shape the future by living in it. You're going to shape the future by living in the moment, right? You can talk about your goals. You can talk about it. But if you focus on tomorrow, you're never going to appreciate or live in today. That makes sense? I hope so. All right, people, I am Tommy. This was The Love Boat. Between now and the next time I see you, which will be at our normal squirrel time this evening, put a little love in your heart. I promise you, this is a better planet when you lead with love than when you lead with hate. All right? We'll see you on the next one, everybody. I love you. V-bombs, you better have seen this. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.